I just thinking I got a full tank now. We could go back and finish those thoughts that I skipped this morning. uh, we have covered some of this already. Oh, actually, we've covered all of this already. At least all these verses. I haven't covered all of what I'm going to say this evening. Hebrews chapter 12. We're going to look at verses 25 through 29, the last 5 verses of Hebrews chapter 12. See that you refuse not him that speaketh, for if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, so much more shall not we escape, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shall shake not the earth only, but also heaven. And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken, as of things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Therefore, where we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear. For our God is a consuming fire. Now, I may get a little slow start this evening. It is right now in the midst of my nap time. And any of you who saw my picture on Facebook know what our dog is doing about now, or would be. I wanted to look a little closer at these verses because this is written primarily to it's written to save people, but it's written primarily to Hebrews, Jews in particular. Not all Hebrews are Jews, but all Jews are Hebrews, and throughout it's simply telling them how much better everything is under this new covenant. A better sacrifice, a better everything. But here in verse 25, where we started reading, he says, See that you refuse not him that speaketh. For if they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. To begin with, the book of Hebrews is a book of comparison. Better word, better promises, better covenant, better high priest. Here the comparison is between Moses and Jesus. Moses had the word of God, but Jesus is God. John 1:1, in the word, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14, if you'd like to read that. He says, If they escape not who refused him that spake on earth, much more we, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven. Moses gave them the law, and they rebelled against it. Now, actually, God gave Moses the law, and Moses then in turn came down and gave them what God had said. And time again we read records of their destruction because they wouldn't listen. When they made the golden calf, 3,000 men died. Exodus chapter 33, verse 28. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell to the people that day about 3,000 men. Nadab and Abihu, sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Leviticus chapter 10, verses 1 and 2. And because they refused to go up into the land from Kadesh Barnea, everyone from the age of 20 years old and up died in the wilderness, with the exception Joshua and Caleb. Numbers 14:22. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoked me see it. When Korah and his band of 250 princes strove against Moses, God opened up the earth and swallowed them. Numbers 16, verse 32, and the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods, and they and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed up upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. And I could go on and on and on of the northern, how the northern kingdom was finally destroyed by the Assyrians. We say they were carried away, but records, Sargon's records, shows Assyria took out of all of the northern kingdom 22,000 captives, and they killed the rest. The 10 lost tribes aren't lost. God knows where there are, but there ain't many of them left. The southern kingdom was carried away captive to Babylon, and well, anyway, the point's well made. If they did not escape, how much less chance is there for those who have ignored the Son of God? At one point in his ministry, he said it will be easier on Sodom and Gomorrah in judgment than it will be for you. Matthew chapter 11, verse 23, and thou, Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, shall be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works had been done in thee, had been done in Sodom, it would have remained until this day. But I say unto you, that it shall be more tolerable in the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for thee. The book of Hebrews began with this same warning. Hebrews 1:1. God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1 starts like this. Therefore we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip. For if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward, how shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation, which at the first began to be spoken by the Lord, and was confirmed to us by them that heard him? Our text simply says this: the voice they heard shook the earth, verse 26. Jesus in his is the voice that spoke from heaven. He told the Pharisees, John chapter 8, verse 23, Ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. But our text goes on to say, he is going to speak again, and this time he's going to shake both heaven and earth. Rebellious men and rebellious angels alike are going to have their place in the lake of fire. Hebrews chapter 1 began with a warning. You better listen. And we come down to near the end. There's just one more chapter. And the same warning is, you better listen. I may be going kind of at this slowly and haphazardly, seemingly, but I want to lay down the ground rules and let us understand. Hebrews is a warning from beginning to end that you'd better listen. First of all, rebellious man and rebellious angel have their place in the lake of fire. But we need to understand that, first of all, hell was created for the devil and his angels, not us. And so we know they're going to be there. But then he tells us that he tells us that it has been enlarged to accommodate, I guess, is, I don't know if that's a proper word or not. If that's a proper word for it, I'd like a different room. Matthew 25:31 tells us that hell was created for the devil and his angels. But then after the final judgment, all of those who reject him will be cast alive into the lake of fire. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 15. You know, sometimes we read this and we feel like we're so far removed from it that I don't know if it has the effect on us that it should. I mean, I've been burned, but not bad. I mean, I've been bad burned, but not all over. It's just a spot at a time. But this is serious, folks. And it is so serious that it ought to cause a reaction to us, his people, to warn our people out there that don't know him. Revelation 20:15 says, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. It's going to take at least 1,000 more years another 1,000 more years, brethren. But in the end, what this is telling us is we, as God's children, are going to inherit a perfect world. You know, it's with the world we live in, it's hard for us to imagine perfect. But we're going to inherit a perfect world. All of nature is going to be at harmony. Well, nature has pretty much been in harmony with everything except where man's messed with it. But it's going to be a world that is completely and utterly without sin, where thoughts of sin don't even enter our minds. You know, that's where it begins, is in your mind. According to James, I'm not going to turn there. In verse 27, it says, "And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken, as of things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain." This term, we're down to just pretty much the church now. So I can talk more. This term, once more, signifies the removal of all those material things that are shaken. 2 Peter chapter 3, starting in verse 10, Peter writes, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat." Have you ever seen have you ever seen a silver trinket where there's just a form, and there's the silver is melted and it's poured down into this form, and as it cools and you break open the mold, and there's your little silver trinket. I don't know if I'm describing this quite right. The earth here is described as being melted. I used the right thing. I just went too far with it. When you melt the silver, you melt it down. On the top, there's impurities, and you scrape that off. And then, if that's not enough, then you melt it again. Any impurities come to the top, and you scrape that off. And that's what this is describing. The earth, as we know it, is going to undergo Romans chapter 8. It says it better than I can. Romans chapter 8, verse 20. For the creature, the earth, was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who subjected the same in hope, Adam. Because the creature itself shall be delivered from bondage of corruption into a glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth. And I'm getting ahead in my outline because I want to try and use it to explain this. Together in pain until now. And not only they, but we ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. In the rapture, you're going to see some form of me that looks pretty much like me. The only difference is it will have absolutely no sin whatsoever. Purged, cleansed. And that's what's going to happen to the earth. It's going to be raptured, for lack of a better word. I know it don't say raptured, but hey, it don't say raptured about us. But it's the same thing. The earth is going to be purged. It's going to be shaken until all of the impurities are gone. That's what this is saying. It's saying after the final judgment, when John saw heaven and new heaven and new earth in Revelation 21:1, it's all the Christ rejectors have been removed. The earth itself has been purged and the sin is all gone. That which can be shaken will be shaken, and that which will not, that can't be shaken, will remain. That which cannot be shaken, first of all, is Christ, and I have Christ in me, and you have Christ in you. And when it's all over, we're going to look at Jesus, and we're going to be like him. Flesh and blood, yes. Sin nature, no. We'll be without sin. We'll not be tempted by sin because sin has been removed. It has already been cast into the lake of fire. Satan's in the lake of fire. Christ rejectors are in the lake of fire. And then that which cannot be shaken may remain. Most commentators, that's opposed as opposed to fancy-taters. Most commentators that I read agree to this extent, that which cannot be shaken is Christ, his gospel, and his kingdom. One could say one thing and another says something else. But the new heaven and the new earth were mentioned as unmovable, whereas the present earth is. All of these thoughts combined to include us, brethren. We are part of an unmovable kingdom. I have no idea what heaven is like. I do kind of have an idea what the new earth is like. I got a little idea what the new. I got a better view of the new heaven than I do heaven as it is now. Paul admonished the Corinthians and said this, "Therefore, my brethren, beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." Our writer says in verse 28, "Wherefore we receive a kingdom which cannot be moved. Let us therefore, let us have grace whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear. For our God is a consuming fire." I have not done this justice this evening. I can envision our inhabiting an earth that is completely perfect. Bumblebees won't sting you anymore. They'll go back to their original purpose that they were created. There'll be no sin. And in our spirit, we can go and stand in the very presence of God the Father and praise Him. I'll be able to sing like Mike. I just use that as an example because I can't sing now. I'm a monotone. I'm not altogether monotone speaking or preaching, but when I go to sing, I'm a monotone. Can't help it. Those who would not hear Moses died one by one, and those who will not hear the Son of God suffer an even worse fate than that. Because their fate is an eternal fate. I'm done before I butcher up any words. Let's stand to be dismissed.